And honestly, I don't know why I thought growing a human was just gonna be a piece of cake. I mean, that's on me. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Delaney and I am 23 weeks pregnant. I am finally sitting down to film my first trimester recap, but honestly, my first trimester, I know technically the first trimester is the first 12 weeks of your pregnancy, but I only feel like I just entered my second trimester. So when I found out I got pregnant, I knew that I would want to film a video like this because before I was pregnant and right when I got pregnant, I was obsessed with watching gals talk about their first trimester experience. And this is sort of my way of giving back to the community for women who are in the position that I was in previously. So I took notes each week throughout my pregnancy of sort of the main things that happened or that I experienced or that I was feeling. And I'll go through those with you now. And then I'll kind of round up with some things that I found helped me survive the first trimester. I'll give away the ending now. I did not enjoy the first trimester at all. I only just started enjoying pregnancy like this week, if I'm being honest. So yeah, hopefully some tips I can offer from my experience will be helpful to you. Before we get started, I'll give you a little bump date. So this is my bump at 23 weeks, and I really feel like I look pregnant now. I've definitely popped, and I'm really excited to style the bump and enjoy this cute phase of pregnancy. Okay, so with that, let's get you all caught up on the first few weeks of my pregnancy. So I found out that I was pregnant 3.5 weeks after my last period. Before finding out I was pregnant, I was already not feeling normal. I had this horrible cycle, as I'd mentioned. I had a terrible head cold. My immune system was down and I was just really ill. And so it's hard to say exactly when the pregnancy symptoms hit me because right at the beginning, for the first month or 2 months, I had a lot of head colds and my immune system was down. So because I'd had a miscarriage in January, I wanted to get in to see a doctor as soon as I found out I was pregnant. I was really eager to see if I had any sort of hormone imbalance or if there was anything I could do just see if there was anything I could do to prevent a second miscarriage because I didn't know why the first one. Oh my goodness. This video might be choppy because I'm burping a lot, which is not classy, but it's definitely a symptom of pregnancy. So we will work through that. Anywho, what was I saying? Baby brain is also a real thing. And you can use the excuse from day one, I promise. Right, so I wanted to get into the clinic ASAP. I saw a gynecologist and he immediately he confirmed that I was pregnant, and then he put me on progesterone tablets. So these were a hormone. This is a hormone that if you're too low, it can cause miscarriages. And since he didn't know what my progesterone levels were or what they were my last pregnancy, he told me you can never have too much progesterone, just take these for the first trimester. So they were a suppository. I think that's the right word. Hope you know what I'm talking about. And immediately when I started taking those, I got sick the next day. The nausea set in immediately. So that was week 4, which, that was only the beginning. In the 5th week, I got another head cold. I was really tired. I was going to the bathroom a lot, and I didn't realize that starts right away. I thought that was something that only happened in like your 3rd trimester when your bladder is being compressed, but it's also a hormonal thing. So expect to be waking up in the middle of the night just to go to the bathroom. By 6 weeks, I was bloated. So my body changed at 6 weeks and haven't seen my pre-pregnancy body since. You start getting really gassy and all the things, and cramps, sore boobs. Oh, and this was the week that my vomiting, I hope that's what's a word that we should use that doesn't sound horrible? Even though that's what it was horrible. That's when my sickness really began. So I did a workout class, and I remember I got sick in the locker room, and that was when I thought, okay, I need to take a break from gymming because it was just too much. I was getting sick after, I was getting dizzy in the workouts, and I just thought that it could be dangerous. So I stopped working out at that point. But during the 6th week, we did have our heartbeat ultrasound, and this was such a big relief. When I found out I was pregnant, again, you'll know this if you saw my finding out I was pregnant video, I was not excited in the same way I was when I found out I was pregnant with the first baby that I lost. And I think it's because I had that miscarriage. I had all this anxiety, and I didn't want to be excited if I was going to lose this one. So I didn't get excited about the pregnancy, and it didn't really feel real for me until much later. But having this heartbeat ultrasound really did help and sort of allow me to feel comfortable telling my family and closest friends. So that was a really exciting appointment. So week 7, more of the same. I didn't have any cravings in the first trimester. I had a ton of food aversions. So I didn't want to eat anything. Nothing sounded appealing. The particular things that were just disgusting were coffee, eggs, and fish. So I only ate things that sounded like, okay, maybe that would stay down, but nothing excited me. There was one night when I really wanted strawberries, so we got some strawberries. But other than that, it was more about what I felt like I could eat and less about what I really wanted. By the middle of the first trimester, I did not have any motivation to do anything. I was tired. I was nauseous, bloated, had acid reflux. I stopped sewing. I stopped making content. It was bleak. I do remember at this point, the things that did sound good to me were Sour Skittles and Sour Patch Kids, like anything sour, that seemed to help with the nausea. At 8 weeks, my mom came to visit, and we did a small trip to Prague. And I remember that I was fine during the day. We weren't doing strenuous activities, but every single night I got sick. By 9 weeks, I started kind of posting on social media again. I felt a little more normal. The nausea sort of subsided. I was still getting sick, but in between feeling sick, I didn't feel nauseous all the time, which was such a huge relief. I remember being really excited about that, and I thought that that was a sign that my sickness was going to be over soon. Boy, was I wrong. Sleeping became really uncomfortable, so I started sleeping with like 6 pillows, on your back, in between your legs, in all these different positions. Probably mostly because of the acid reflux. It was better for me to sleep sort of propped up, and I was still going to the bathroom a lot in the middle of the night. My hormonal acne flared up. It was terrible this week. Just something I noted. By weeks 10 and 11, I started experiencing round ligament pain, and it's different than cramping. Cramping at the beginning of the pregnancy just felt sort of like a pull on my lower back, which was very different to PMS cramps as well. Round ligament pain was these random jolts of sharp pain kind of in the front. Probably it's your uterus growing and things like that. And I was sleeping a ton, still getting sick, but we did have our end of first trimester scan, and this was a huge relief for me. I remember finally starting to feel excited about being pregnant, and you could actually see the baby, and it looked like a baby, and it was kind of all starting to feel real. Weeks 12 and 13, oh my goodness. Weeks 12 and 13, I took a trip to Valencia to see a really good friend of mine who I hadn't seen in years, and we didn't do anything strenuous during the day, but I was getting sick after every single meal. It was horrific. And at this point, people started coming out of the woodwork and letting me know that, oh, by the way, you can be pregnant throughout your entire pregnancy, and that's normal. I'm sorry? I was under the impression that you had morning sickness for at most the first trimester, and then the second trimester you're full of energy and you're glowing and your baby bump comes in, and then your third month you're big and uncomfortable and ready for the baby to be here. That was a reality check for me. And at this point I started shifting my mental framework and preparing myself to be sick for the entire pregnancy. I was starting to build being sick into my day. And as I mentioned previously, the nausea had completely gone away. So between sicknesses, I felt really good, which was a huge relief. I just had to stay positive about getting sick. And I started treating getting sick as totally normal. Like, oh, you have to take out the trash, you have to walk the dog, you have to do the dishes, you have to get sick. These are things that you might not want to do, but they're just kind of everyday parts of life that, keep you functioning properly. So at this point, my first trimester was technically done, but I wasn't feeling any better. So as I mentioned, I really only feel like I got out of my first trimester a week ago. So week 14 to 18, my husband and I spent it in Latvia. We were at a cabin in nature. It was very calm and peaceful, and I just rested most of the time, but I was still getting sick after most meals. As I had mentioned, I was already prepared to have this kind of like be my pregnancy. We did try to see the gender of the baby first in Budapest around week 12. But we know she's a girl now, but she wouldn't uncross her legs. And so the ultrasound tech couldn't tell us. And then we tried again in Latvia week 18, but the equipment in the countryside, she said it wasn't advanced enough to get a clear picture. So that was week 18. I was still getting really sick, and we had a bunch of family and friends flying in to Budapest from the States. And I remember wondering how I was going to manage this massive trip that we'd planned months in advance with the sickness. I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting. Let's, buckle in, get prepared. And we also needed to know the gender because we had planned this entire baby shower / gender reveal riverboat cruise. So the day before everyone flew in, I snuck in an ultrasound appointment and got confirmation from the technician that she was a girl, and that was a really special day for us. That was one of the most fun memories so far, as well as the baby shower and gender reveal. That was so magical. So I was getting sick up until the day before everyone came in. But as soon as everyone started coming in, like magic, I felt fine. I felt great, actually. So some of the things that we were doing differently when everyone came in was walking a ton and eating a bunch. And that was sort of a signal to me that being less sedentary and eating more could help subside my sickness symptoms. And I'm not saying that these things would have worked earlier in the pregnancy, because of course a lot of sickness is just hormonal changes. But what I was starting to feel was a shift in the pregnancy, that maybe I was at a stage where I could start doing more and would feel better if I did more, as well as eat more. So that was really exciting. And as soon as everyone left, this is week 21 now, I got sick again immediately. It was July 31st. That was the worst day of my pregnancy so far. I woke up at 5:30 that morning to get sick, and I tried to eat something plain, oatmeal, got sick. And then that entire day, every single hour, without fail, I got sick. Whether I ate something plain or small or didn't eat anything at all, I would just throw up water. I don't know what happened, but I was just getting sick every single hour. It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. My brother-in-law, who is a doctor, prescribed me some nausea medication, and that didn't work. So I consulted with my doctor over WhatsApp, and she recommended a shot. And I believe this is I don't remember the name, but I'll put it up here. It's a shot that they give people going through chemotherapy when they're throwing up a lot, and also pregnant women with hyperemesis gravidarum. So I was going to go into the hospital the next day and get that shot. So I was sick all day. And at some point in the middle of the night, I woke up and I had horrible hunger pains. So I took this as a signal that maybe I should try to eat something. So I snuck downstairs and I ate plain chicken. And I just ate like the tiniest little bites and really slowly. I think it took me 20 minutes to get through like 3 pieces. But my hunger pains subsided immediately and I didn't get sick. So I went back to sleep for an hour or 2, woke up. I had brought the chicken up by my bed and I was eating more chicken, fell asleep a little bit, eating more chicken. And the next morning before I went into the hospital, I was contacting my doctor again. And we were trying to figure out what could have set this off. And I don't know how TMI we want to be together, but this might help you if you're pregnant, pay attention to this. So I'm just going to get into it because I'm not embarrassed by it. So don't be grossed out by it and then we'll be fine. Discussing with my doctor, I had realized I hadn't passed a bowel movement in like a week or something crazy like that. And I just wasn't paying attention. So she recommended that morning I try an over-the-counter enema before the shot because it's less invasive. So I did. And once I had passed a bowel movement, I felt immediately better. I mean, it was crazy. And started going to the gym again, started eating more. This is really when I feel like my second trimester started. And that was it. Yeah, the last time that I got sick was the absolute worst time that I got sick. How poetic is that? So I am finally enjoying my pregnancy. I'm enjoying my little bump. I'm back in the gym. I'm excited to be posting content again and sewing. I haven't sewn anything since March, which is so sad. I really do miss it. Before we wrap up though, I do want to go over and summarize some of the things that really helped me. So some practical things that I ate that helped me feel better, ate and drank, were sour candy, carbonated drinks. For me, that was mostly lemonades and like lemon San Pellegrinos. Plain foods, which I know you've heard this before, but it's so true. There was a phase where I was only eating bagels and cream cheese. But some other ideas are simple fruits. I avoided berries because when they come up, they're sour and horrible and disgusting. Oatmeal, instant noodles, like the instant ramen, and plain pasta. Another thing that was a lifesaver that still is are Tums, which is calcium carbonate. Oh, I love Tums. Thank you, Tums. Just remember that there might be a phase in your pregnancy where you're just getting sick. And as I mentioned earlier, I threw up salad and oatmeal. So sometimes it's not about what you eat or how much, but it does help to stick to plain foods and eat frequently throughout the day, small meals. So don't go too long without food, even if you have food aversions. I know it's difficult, but you gotta do it. The other thing is drink a lot of water. I promise having water in your system when you're getting sick makes the whole experience so much more comfortable. Also, of course, you want to stay hydrated, but it really does help make the sickness experience more manageable. Avoid long car rides if you can. This is a huge one for me. Every time we got in the car for more than 20 minutes, we had to pull over and I would get sick. Avoid being tired. I noticed that when I didn't nap or if I was staying up too late, I would start to feel nauseous. So if you need to sleep, sleep, mama. Get your sleep. Stay active. And I know it's the last thing you want to do when you're feeling nauseous. And I don't mean go to the gym if you're getting dizzy or getting sick, but going for walks around the block, planning things into your day that sort of keep you moving, but also are a bit of a distraction, really do help. The last and one of the biggest things is not a practical thing, but a mental shift. And I sort of revisited a video that I filmed a few months ago called Dealing with Hard Times. And those tips definitely applied to this first trimester of pregnancy with how hard it was for me. Of course, it's totally worth it. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but you do need to be realistic about it. And honestly, I don't know why I thought growing a human was just going to be a piece of cake. I mean, that's on me. That wraps up today's video. I hope that it was informative or at least entertaining. If you are pregnant and you are entering your first trimester or you just got out of your first trimester, congratulations. I am so excited for you. Please let me know when you are due, if you have any baby names. I love talking about baby names. I think I'm gonna do a whole video on it, but I am so excited for you. And just remember that even if the first trimester is tough, which it's not for everybody, so don't go into pregnancy expecting it to be hard. Just know that if it is for you, you're not alone, but you are strong enough to get through it, and it's a phase. It will pass. No one is pregnant forever. You got this. I'm so excited for you. I will see you in my next video. Ciao.